A woman vanishes into thin air after sparking chaos in a crowded supermarket. A healthy young man becomes paralyzed for life after eating a slug. And a legendary athlete's heart starts beating again, inside the body of a complete stranger. These stories sound like fiction, but they're shockingly real. If you've ever thought real life couldn't possibly be stranger than a movie, think again. Today, we're diving into 3 mind-bending true stories that defy logic, challenge belief, and may leave you questioning the world around you. From the paranormal to the tragic, and the bizarre to the miraculous, these tales prove that truth really is stranger than fiction. So sit tight, because what you're about to see might just change how you see reality. The Jusco Phantom Incident. On February 17, 2004, the Jusco superstore in Wakatchi City became the site of an unsettling event that would soon become known as the Jusco Phantom Incident. What began as a typical shopping day for many shoppers quickly turned into a chaotic and confusing scene. The incident involved a young woman and an elderly man, and what transpired in that moment has left many with more questions than answers. Was it a robbery? A misunderstanding? Or something more bizarre and inexplicable? The commotion began as the woman, who was carrying a baby in a sling, got into an altercation with an older man. Shoppers, initially unsure of what to do, soon saw the man wrestling with the woman. In an attempt to subdue him, 3 men from the crowd intervened, pinning the elderly man to the ground. As they tried to open his clenched fists, they feared the man had stolen something from the woman. The scene was frantic, with the woman yelling "thief," as the man groaned strangely and began to vomit violently before losing consciousness. The police, who had been nearby, quickly arrived at the scene, and the man, later identified as Mr. A, was taken to the hospital, where he died from heart failure induced by extreme stress. Initially, the police believed that Mr. A had been caught in the act of stealing, but as they began their investigation, they realized that no theft had actually occurred. Upon examining the man's belongings, they found nothing out of the ordinary. His wallet and bank cards, still in his possession, suggested that there had been no robbery. Even more perplexing was the fact that the bags scattered around him only contained pet supplies, a far cry from the stolen goods they had expected to find. Amid the chaos of the moment, the police hadn't thought to check on the woman involved. She had simply vanished from the scene, leaving no trace of her whereabouts. Witnesses reported seeing her walk away after the incident, but no one could provide a coherent description of her. This raised even more questions. Who was she? What had truly happened? And why had she left without offering any explanation? When the police reviewed the CCTV footage from the Jusco store, they made an unsettling discovery. The footage captured the woman just moments before the altercation took place. Standing motionless in a corner, she seemed almost to blend into the background, a mere figure among the crowd. As Mr. A entered the frame, the woman suddenly became animated, walking past him, brushing his chest as she did. What followed was a bizarre reaction. Mr. A instinctively grabbed her arm, setting off the struggle. In the footage, it was clear that the woman had instigated the fight, not the elderly man. What happened next was even more chilling. As the 3 men restrained Mr. A and the police arrived to handcuff him, the woman calmly walked into the crowd and disappeared, as if vanishing into thin air. Despite an extensive search of the footage from all around the store, there was no sign of her entering or leaving the building. It was as if she had appeared out of nowhere and vanished just as quickly. The footage of the woman, captured for just a split second, raised even more alarm when it was reviewed by the police. Her face, utterly emotionless and cold, appeared almost death-like. The eyes were vacant, and the expression seemed to be that of a lifeless mask. The police, disturbed by the unsettling image, decided to withhold it from the public for an entire year, fearing it would instill fear in those who might return to Jusco. The mystery deepened when Mr. A's family, still in disbelief over the events, demanded the case be reopened. They insisted that the woman must have had something to do with the tragedy, given that Mr. A was known to be a gentle and caring person, not someone who would suddenly attack a woman and her child. Despite their insistence, the police remained resistant to further investigation. But eventually, they reviewed the footage once again and tried to piece together the eerie events leading up to Mr. A's collapse. To this day, the identity of the woman remains unknown. Though she was captured on CCTV, no one has ever come forward to claim her or offer any insight into her actions. The case, which was officially closed after Mr. A's death, has become one of Japan's most talked about mysteries. Discussions of the Jusco Phantom incident continue to circulate in online forums, where people still speculate about the identity and motives of the woman involved. Some believe she may have been a ghost or a manifestation of something beyond our understanding, while others think there may be a much darker, more sinister explanation lurking beneath the surface. The unresolved nature of the case only adds to the mystery. Despite the passage of years, the haunting questions surrounding the Jusco Phantom incident have never been answered. Could there be a logical explanation? Or is it possible that some mysteries, no matter how strange, will remain forever unsolved? As time marches on, the memory of that strange encounter continues to linger, unsettling anyone who dares to look deeper into the case. The eerie photograph of the woman, her face still sending shivers down the spines of those who see it, serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. It is a mystery that refuses to fade, leaving many wondering whether they will ever uncover the real story behind the Jusco Phantom. Sam Ballard's struggle with rat lungworm disease. At 19 years old, Sam Ballard was the picture of health. He was a college student, a talented rugby player, and, as his mother described him, invincible. But one fateful night in 2010, while attending a friend's casual gathering, Sam's life took a sudden and tragic turn. The night began like many others. Friends gathered to drink, laugh, and joke around. It was a typical red wine appreciation night, where they pretended to be sophisticated, sipping wine instead of the usual beer. It wasn't long before they found the small slug crawling across the patio. It was just a fleeting moment, one that Sam and his friends would have forgotten, but for the dare that followed. One of the group jokingly challenged anyone to eat it. Most of them laughed it off, but Sam, always one to rise to a challenge, picked up the slug and swallowed it in one swift motion. The group burst into laughter, and Sam was crowned the king of the night. But things took a dark turn the very next morning. Sam woke up feeling a dull ache in his legs, which he initially attributed to the after-effects of drinking. But as the day went on, the pain didn't subside, it got worse. Sam, now deeply concerned, told his mother about the strange leg pain. The first thing she thought of was multiple sclerosis, a condition that had afflicted his father. Sam feared the same, but there was something else on his mind. He had eaten a slug, and he wondered if that could have caused this pain. They went to the doctor, who quickly ruled out multiple sclerosis. Still, the doctors had no explanation for the pain Sam was experiencing. It was puzzling, and Sam's concern about the slug he ate began to grow. After a few days, the doctor called back with the results of their research. It wasn't just a case of indigestion or an allergic reaction, it was something much rarer and far more dangerous. Sam had contracted rat lungworm disease, a parasitic infection that he had contracted from eating the slug. The infection, most commonly found in rats, is caused by a parasitic worm. When rats excrete feces containing the parasite's larvae, snails and slugs can ingest them. Sam, unknowingly consuming the infected slug, had become a victim of this rare and deadly disease. Typically, people who contract rat lungworm disease do so from eating undercooked or raw snails, but the disease can cause severe effects when the parasite spreads through the nervous system. In Sam's case, the parasite had made its way into his brain, causing a rare form of meningitis. At first, the diagnosis came as a shock. How could something so bizarre and unlikely happen to someone so young and healthy? The doctors were careful to explain how rare this disease was and how it typically affected people who ate undercooked snails. But Sam had eaten a slug, an act most people would think harmless at the time. Yet, this small action led to a life-altering diagnosis. The doctors warned Sam and his family that there was little they could do to treat it. The disease was unpredictable. Some people recovered with mild symptoms, while others, like Sam, would suffer extreme consequences. Unfortunately for Sam, his case was severe. Within days of the diagnosis, he slipped into a coma, and the doctors were forced to prepare his family for the worst. He remained unconscious for a staggering 420 days. When Sam finally woke up, his life as he knew it was gone. He had been paralyzed from the neck down, unable to speak or eat without the help of a feeding tube. Although his mental faculties were sharp, the rest of his body had been devastated by the disease. The sense of helplessness was overwhelming. His family and friends rallied around him, supporting him through his physical struggles. His best friend, Jimmy, who had been with him the night of the dare, said that when he visited Sam in the hospital, Sam's first reaction to hearing his apology was to cry. Despite his inability to speak or move, it was clear that Sam had understood and forgave him. In the years that followed, Sam's condition deteriorated further. The life of the energetic, athletic young man was replaced by a man who needed constant care. His body was no longer able to move on its own, and he was dependent on others for even the most basic needs. It was not just his physical condition that changed, but his family too. They had to adjust to the fact that Sam would never return to the life he once had, and they watched helplessly as he fought a battle that seemed impossible to win. The disease had stripped Sam of his independence, but it hadn't taken his spirit. Despite the profound physical limitations, he remained mentally sharp, continuing to engage with his family and friends as best as he could. However, the toll it took on him emotionally and psychologically was just as devastating as the physical one. Sam's mind, fully aware of his plight, faced a daily struggle. It was as if the body he had once been so proud of had betrayed him, trapping him in a world where the things he once took for granted were now impossible. His family, too, felt the pain of watching him suffer, as they realized that there was nothing they could do to reverse the damage the disease had caused. After 3 years in a wheelchair, Sam passed away, his life cut short by the parasitic disease he contracted from that one impulsive moment. He had always been active, healthy, and full of promise. His tragic death serves as a stark reminder of how quickly things can change, and how fragile life truly is. The family never expected a simple dare to spiral into such an irreversible chain of events. It was a moment of youthful folly that would ultimately change Sam's life, and his family's, forever. During the years of his illness, Sam kept a copy of Dr. Seuss's The Places You'll Go by his side. The book, which encourages children to face challenges head-on, became a source of comfort for him. His family and friends would read from it, hoping that it would give him strength in his darkest moments. When Sam passed away, the book was read one last time at his funeral. It was a bittersweet farewell to a young man whose life had been so full of promise and whose struggle with a rare disease had captured the hearts of many. Sam's case remains a striking example of how the smallest actions can lead to life-changing consequences. What started as a harmless dare at a party ultimately led to a painful, prolonged battle with an incredibly rare disease. While rat lungworm disease may seem like a far-fetched, almost fictional illness, Sam's story is a chilling reminder that sometimes, the strangest things are not only real, they can have devastating consequences.